does Mike Pereira fill out a college basketball bracket? That's what a lot of people here at the Rich Eisen Show want to know. So I present the question to you, Mike. Do you actually fill out a bracket for the NCAA tournament, or you've got other things to do?
I haven't missed one yet. My bracket's still perfect.
Your bracket is still perfect. Are you really pulling my chain now, or you really got a perfect bracket?
No, that means I didn't even fill one out. That's what it means.
Come on, man.
I'm just not knowledgeable enough, you know? I mean, I'm like stuck with, I'm watching games of the Alliance of American Football and doing all this stuff, and I just never really got into basketball this year.
Okay, because a lot of people over the last couple of days are trying to figure out, why is Gene Steratore talking about basketball rules, Mike? It's like, hey, isn't that the former NFL referee? But people don't understand that a lot of NFL referees and college referees or officials don't just do football. They also do basketball as well.
Yeah, we've had others. Of course, Bill Vinovich still does it. He's working college basketball. Tom Finken was a great downfield official that we had in our league, and he had made it all the way to the Final Four in basketball officiating too. You know, most of the officials that go at all beyond high school are junkies of some sort or another, and so you have worked different sports. You know, I worked basketball when I was younger on the high school level, and so you look at a person like Steratore, which is why I thought that was a perfect choice, that he was a perfect choice for CBS, because I knew he could give some real clutch insight into basketball in the tournament. And there's just so many games and so many plays that come up. And when I listened yesterday to a few games and watched them and saw Gene come on, he was like spot on the plays with flagrant ones and all this kind of stuff. And he to me, he did a great job in football in his first year, and I think he's doing a really great job in basketball so far in the tournament.
You know, Mike, you mentioned it. He's big on all the rules, whether it's the college basketball or the NFL rules. But for you, Mike, I got a chance to see you a couple weeks ago down on the sideline at an AAF game down in San Diego. And I'm watching you as you're kind of looking at this game and what's going on with sort of the rules for the AAF and possibly implementing them in the NFL. Now, before I get to the NFL rules proposals, what have you seen so far with the way that the AAF game is working that can probably be implemented in the NFL?
Well, I'll tell you, nobody seems to be missing the kickoff. That has become, a play in the NFL that in terms of the touchback, there's so few returns, and I was interested to see how that was going to look like, once we, did it in the AAF, the Alliance, and quite frankly, I think it was accepted right from the get-go, and I think it's interesting that the NFL actually has a proposal on the table that talks about, what we call just a conversion, an onside conversion in the Alliance, and the NFL's talking about a play that starts 4th and 15, and I forget, from the 35 or correct. Something like that.
Yeah, from 35.
And seems to have the backing of the competition committee. So it's not going to eliminate the kickoff necessarily, but it is going to be a different way to attempt and probably a safer way to, attempt to keep the ball as you would in an onside kick. So, that has been good. I mean, the addition of the sky judge to me has been good. Hasn't been used very much because of the fact that we haven't had a lot of pass interference plays, which the sky judge can review inside of 5 minutes of the fourth quarter, and not too many player safety plays that have come up where the sky judge could have gotten involved in. But it's that safety net that the Alliance has successfully used that I really think is something that needs to be looked at, not just in the NFL, but I think in the NCAA level also.
Mike Pereira, the Fox NFL college football officiating analyst, joining the Rich Eisen Show. Kirk Morrison filling in for Rich. Now, we know next week is the NFL league meetings, and a lot of these proposals will be on the table. Of the major rule changes, which really involve, like you mentioned, replay and possibly, overtime rules. If there was one that you think really has a strong chance of being approved by the owners, which rule do you think will probably be passed next week?
Well, I think there's a couple. I mean, the one that that I like the most is, for some reason, we have a rule in the NFL: if you have a personal foul or an unsportsmanlike conduct foul during a scoring play or after a scoring play, there is no option to enforce that penalty on the try. And
Yes.
I get that when the try was always from the 2-yard line, whether you attempted a 2-point try or a 1-point try. But I made the point that they needed to give the offended team the option, if it was against the offense, to put it on the kick try, because you'd obviously go, instead of, snapping from the 15, you'd march it back 15 and snap from the 30. And
Wow.
so you'd be looking at like a 47-yard attempt. So it really has an impact there, where it has so little impact if you just roll it over onto the kickoff. And I think that clearly will pass. I mean, there are a couple other little penalty enforcement issues that that nobody really cares about or knows about. Where are you going to force a penalty when you have fouls on both teams that occur after a change of possession? I mean, those things to me are cleanups. The big thing is what's happening in replay and the proposals, 2 of them, the proposals that are going to allow replay to get involved in pass interference. But I think they fall short. And I think the committee probably knows they fall short, because while they propose that replay can get involved in pass interference anytime during the course of the game, and also player safety, roughing the quarterback or illegal use of the helmet anytime during the course of the game, it's only when the penalty is called. And so it doesn't really correct the big issues from last year. Certainly it doesn't do anything to change the outcome of the championship game on the pass interference in New Orleans that was not called. The hit on Alvin Kamara, which was a vicious helmet-to-helmet hit, it wasn't called, so replay couldn't get involved in that. So I look at that and say both proposals fall short. I think that when the owners get together and see that it doesn't do anything to remedy the big situations that came up last season, I don't think it'll pass. I think it'll get tabled, and probably tabled until the May meeting. And maybe in the May meeting they can come up with something that is maybe more like what the Alliance does, and having that 8th official, essentially, and he is an official and one of the crew members, and if he can make a change in real time on a pass interference or a personal foul situation, if he can do it within the time frame before the ball is next snapped, do it, get it done, move on. And so maybe that will get discussed and in the May meeting. But I know that Roger Goodell wants something done. Mm-hmm. And so when Roger wants something done, usually something's going to get done. Right. But I just think what they have on the on their plate right now in terms of proposals falls too short.
The Fox NFL officiating analyst for college football and NFL, Mike Pereira, joining the Rich Eisen Show. You can follow him on Twitter at Mike Pereira. And Mike, obviously, it's always the bigger games, right, in terms of Super Bowl, conference championships, where plays happen or situations happen, and what do? We need to change the rule. And I say that because in the AFC championship game, the Patriots won the toss. They went down. They scored a touchdown in overtime, and the game was over. Now, with the Chiefs proposing the rule that both teams should be allowed at least one possession, is that something that you can see being changed? I look at it as this way, Mike. You've already changed the minutes from 15 to 10 in overtime, and now you want to go with a possession by possession. Is that something more that needs to be collectively bargained because we're talking about player safety? Or could this one just be changed because of the situation that we saw in the conference championship, not having Patrick Mahomes have an opportunity to beat the New England Patriots?
Well, I mean, I think it could be changed, but for all those reasons that you decided, I doubt that it will. Look at it. It was almost impossible to go from basically sudden death, which was the way it was originally. You could kick a long field goal and win the game.
Right.
It was pulling teeth just to get the teams and the owners to agree to basically go a two-possession game as long as the first possession didn't end in a touchdown or a safety. I doubt that there would be enough support to make this even longer and to guarantee two possessions. The number of plays will increase, and it's absolutely contrary to shortening the time from 15 to 10. But, I'm of the opinion that, the team needs to play defense. And if you play defense and you succeed in defense, guess what? You then get the advantage. If you are able to hold a team to a field goal or less on that first possession, then you create the advantage for yourself, knowing what you have to do to either tie or win. So I just don't see the change coming. I get it. Everything's about offense and everything's about Patrick Mahomes. I get it all. But to me, I never see the NFL parting ways with the term sudden death. They want it to be sudden death. And so you have that element now, whereas if you score the touchdown or create the safety in that first series, it is sudden death. And so I just don't see them going away from that.
I got you, Mike, always. How's the golf game, by the way?
Well, it's been kind of non-existent even in California here because of the weather up here in Northern California. And I am going to the AAF game and the Alliance game in San Antonio Saturday, and then I'm going to cruise from San Antonio over to the Palm Desert and play a couple of rounds. So I'll report in, but I'm looking at my handicap going on the rise after playing a couple rounds in Palm Springs because I just am too rusty, I think, and probably getting too old. That I just don't hit the ball as far as anymore. But I'll be happy to play you if you want to play.
No, can't give up all my money. That's too easy for you, Mike. You'll destroy me. Hey, always, Mike. I appreciate the time, man, and have fun when you do hit the links. All right.
I will do that. I promise you, and I'll keep watching the Instagram, Eisen's Instagram. He's going to come back 300 pounds, for God's sake. He's doing all those things. Jeez.
All right. Appreciate the time, Mike. Have a good one.
You got it. See you.
Oh, that's Mike Pereira, the Fox NFL and college football officiating analyst, joining the Rich Eisen Show.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.